Faces in the portraits. A man got lost in the woods. He wandered for hours and finally stumbled upon a cabin at dusk. There was no one inside, so he decided to spend the night there. But he couldn't fall asleep. Strange portraits hung on the walls, and it felt like the painted people were staring at him menacingly. Eventually, exhaustion overcame him, and he drifted off. In the morning, he woke up to bright sunlight. There were no portraits on the walls. They were windows. Ruined film. A young photographer decided to spend a day and night alone in the deep forest. She wasn't scared. This wasn't her first solo trip. She spent the day taking pictures of trees and grass on her film camera, and by nightfall, she tucked into her small tent to sleep. The night passed peacefully, but the horror found her a few days later. She developed all 4 rolls of film. Every frame turned out great, except the last one on each roll. In those final shots, she appeared in her tent, peacefully sleeping in the dead of night. Call from the babysitter. A couple decided to go out for a movie, leaving their kids at home with a babysitter. The kids were already asleep, so the sitter just had to stay in the house in case anything happened. After a while, the girl got bored and decided to watch TV. She called the parents to ask if it was okay. They said of course. But then she had another request. Can I cover up that angel statue outside the window? It's kind of creeping me out. There was a pause. Then the father, who was on the phone, said in a trembling voice, "Get the kids and get out of the house right now. We're calling the police. We don't have an angel statue." When the police arrived, everyone in the house was dead. The statue was never found. Who's there? About 5 years ago, I was woken up in the middle of the night by 4 short rings at my door. I was annoyed and didn't answer, wasn't expecting anyone. The next night, same thing. 4 short rings. I looked through the peephole. No one there. I told the story the next day and even joked, maybe death got the wrong door. On the 3rd night, a friend came over and stayed late. The doorbell rang again. 4 short rings. I pretended not to hear it, just to see if I was hallucinating. But my friend heard it too. He said, "Let's see who the hell is messing with you," and ran outside. That was the last time I saw him. No, he didn't disappear. On the way home, he was beaten by a drunk group and died in the hospital. The ringing stopped after that. I remembered the story last night because I heard 3 short rings at the door. The twin. My girlfriend messaged me today, saying she had no idea I had such a charming twin brother. Turns out, she had stopped by my place, not knowing I was stuck at work until late. He answered the door, introduced himself, offered her coffee, shared some childhood stories, and walked her to the elevator. Only one problem. I don't have a brother. The wet fog. This happened in the mountains of Kyrgyzstan. A group of 5 climbers had set up camp near a small lake. Around midnight, they were settling down to sleep when they heard something, somewhere between crying and laughing, coming from the lake. They went to investigate. There was nothing by the shore, but a strange fog had rolled in, glowing faintly with white lights. They took a few steps toward it. One of them, walking last, suddenly realized he was knee-deep in freezing water. He grabbed the 2 closest friends and pulled them back. The other 2 had already disappeared into the mist. Searching in the freezing dark was impossible. At dawn, the survivors rushed to get help. Rescuers found nothing. By evening, the 2 who had only dipped into the fog were dead. The girl in the photo, a high school student, was bored in class and looking out the window when he spotted a photo lying in the grass. He went outside and picked it up. It was a picture of a beautiful girl in a dress and red shoes, holding up a peace sign. He asked around to see if anyone knew her. No one did. That night, he placed the photo by his bed. He was woken by a soft scratching sound, like someone was tapping on the window. He heard a girl's laugh. He stepped outside and chased the sound, which kept moving farther away. In his rush, he didn't notice the street. A car hit him. The driver jumped out, tried to save him, but it was too late. Then the driver saw something on the ground. The same photo of the beautiful girl, in a dress and red shoes. This time, she was holding up 3 fingers. Grandma Marfa. This is a story a grandfather told his granddaughter. Back when he was a boy, war was approaching their village. The adults decided to hide the kids in the woods, in a forester's house. They were told never to return to the village. Old Grandma Marfa would bring them food. At first, even their parents visited. Then they stopped coming. Each morning, Marfa left food in the shed. The children would watch her through the window. She'd turn to face them, silently cross herself, and walk away. One day, 2 men came to the cabin and called the children out. They were partisans. They told the kids the village had been burned to the ground a month ago. Everyone had been killed, including Grandma Marfa. Don't open the door. A 12-year-old girl lived with her father. They were very close. One evening, he said he'd be working late and would be back around midnight. She waited and waited but eventually fell asleep. She had a strange dream. Her dad was on the other side of a busy road, shouting something at her. She could barely make it out. "Don't open the door." She woke up to the sound of the doorbell. She ran to the door, looked through the peephole, and saw her dad's face. She was about to unlock it, but the dream came rushing back. Something about his face didn't look right. She paused. "Dad?" Ding dong. Ding dong. "Dad, answer me." Ding dong. Ding dong. "Is someone with you?" Ding dong. Ding dong. "Why won't you answer?" she cried. Ding dong. Ding dong. "I won't open the door until you say something." The bell kept ringing. He didn't speak. She curled up in the hallway. Eventually, she passed out from exhaustion. At dawn, everything was quiet. She crept to the door and looked through the peephole. Her father was still there, staring straight at her. She cautiously opened the door and screamed. Her father's severed head was nailed to the door at eye level. There was a note taped to the doorbell. It read, "Smart girl.